Hello and welcome. I think I'm live. It looks like it's all working. Let me know about the sound and things like that, whether there's any echo or anything. There's always something that I get wrong when I do this, but learning all the time. Let me know in the comments. Wow, we got loads of people on already. That's the most I've had. Oh, actually, it just jumped down as soon as I arrived. Oh my word, it's gone down to 60. It was at 114 and now it's down to 66. That's quite something. Hopefully that's just a glitch and everybody didn't leave as soon as I arrived. There's loads of comments already. Let's just see what people are saying. Just having a look and seeing what people are saying. And how is everybody? Hello, Zoran, Koren. Sound and vision is good, thank you. Jacques, is it, or just Jack? Antoine. I've never actually seen your face, Georgie. Well, here is my face. There we go. It's not. Sorry to disappoint you. The streaming rule is never say how many viewers you have. It always goes down for some reason. Oh, is that right? Well, it's up now. It's up. We're up to 130. So I'm turning that rule on its head. Hello, yes, sir. Nice to see you again. Red Dragon, nice to see you again as well. Default Cube, nice to see you as well. Some familiar faces. That's nice. Christina McKay as well. Remember you as well. Often commenting on my YouTube posts, I suppose, and helping others, which is lovely to see. Manuel Aguayo, I think I recognise the name. Delta Novum. How long has the stream been live? Only just got notification. It's been about a few seconds, since 4 o'clock, so you're all good. Do live critiques as well as live stream in the future? I will do, actually. That's a nice easy one for me to do. I don't need to prepare. Not that I ever really prepare for this. I have slight preparation material, but it's not particularly great. Default Cube, is that CG Matter? Because obviously Default Cube, you've got a couple of channels, haven't you? Let me know. I'm wondering if it is a different Default Cube, because obviously people can call themselves different things. Yeah, Southern Shotty. That's nice to see you. What are you doing here? There's famous people on here as well, you know. Yeah. Anyway, so what we're planning today, and glad you feel it. Yes, I'm feeling a lot better, thank you, Southern Shotty. The Default Cube is CG Matter. Ah, okay. Nope, different cube, you see. There we go. Look, different cube. Anyway, but yes, I'm doing much better. I was really struggling at the beginning of the week, but slowly getting there now. It's taken a while to get over this one as well. Frustrating. Here to steal my secrets. I don't think I've got many, I'm afraid. It's not going to be. Well, let's see how we go. See if there's anything worth stealing from me. I very much doubt it. Okay, so the plan for today is to let's see if we can. In fact, I've got editing magic happening. Oh, where's my screen? I haven't set up my screens properly. I'm going to have to just move this across here. Okay, so editing magic. There it is. So, you can see Infinity Me. That'll brighten up anybody's day, I'm sure. So in here we've got a character sheet which I need to bring into Blender, and that is the character I've been asked to create. So this is a commission I've got, and I said, do you want to be live streamed? And they were okay with it. So here we are. Because I know that lots of people have been saying about, can you do a character? And I must say I've been putting it off because it's not an easy thing to do generally, and it's not an easy thing to do live, is it? Well, I don't know if it is because I haven't done it yet, but I reckon it's going to be tough. Oh, I didn't take that down very well. I will always upload these after the fact, as it were. I don't know. My brain isn't with it, is it? I haven't spoken to anybody all day, so except the BT engineer who came around and tried to fix my internet. So my internet should be solid, but he said he couldn't find the fault. So so we'll see. It's been off 5 times today, so I wasn't sure whether I was going to do this. But here we are. Anyway, enough of me jabbering on. But actually, that's not enough of me jabbering on. I'm going to be doing it all the time. Anyway, cool. There's loads of people here. God, I think that's the most I've ever had. 250 already. Look at that. That's crazy. Creeping Talon. Nice to see you again here. There's loads of people online, isn't there? Felix, hello again. Did you hear your anthem I created for you? No, I didn't. That slightly worries me. You brought a graphics tablet, imp rules. After you've watched my video. Yep, graphics tablet, definitely highly effective. You can see on the screen in front of you. Yep, down here. There's my graphics tablet. This Wacom Mobile Studio Pro. I'll get asked that about 3 times, no doubt, in the stream. But it's mobile. It's a Mobile Studio Pro. Let's just get on, shall we? You can find out about that yourself, can't you? Thank you very much for enjoying and saying thanks for the tutorials to people. The Art Kid, yes, yeah, at me at Grant on Discord, in Discord. I'm not with it today, am I? It's not boding well. At Grant on Discord, and then I'll look at your work and I can tell you what I think. Anyway, let's bring up the folder. Let's get rid of this one now and bring up my Wacom display. So this is probably why I enjoy the stream the most. I can just prat around with all these different modes and be a live broadcaster. Isn't this fun? Anyway, where's my jobs folder? I suppose I probably shouldn't show that to everybody, that all the jobs I've got going. I don't really care if people know myself, but they might not want you to know. So the last one I was doing was for Dino Hatchers, and they're going to do a Kickstart campaign soon. So I'll probably talk more about that later. And that's what we were doing last. When was that? I can't remember what the last one was. Was it Monday, I think? Anyway, so what day are we? Right, so where are we? Find my folder. Raymond, that's the person who's this one is for, and there's the character turnaround. Okay, so where is he? That's weird. And I can bring that back in now. I seem to have 2 folders for this, so bad organisation. Organisation is really important. I know that's a thing. My students hate me talking about that. And they hate me saying organise your folder and all that sort of stuff, but it's just absolutely vital. So this is bad organisation, having 2 folders of the same thing. But here's the character turnaround, and they've sent me quite a few sort of that. I always ask, what sort of quality do you want your model to be? Because they might be thinking low poly while you're thinking this detailed sculpt. So obviously you want to get that straight when you're dealing with clients. And I like to. I asked them if they can set up a Pinterest page or board, and we can both sort of add to it and look at it together. And then I have a rough idea of what they're aiming for. That's the main thing. Communication is key when dealing with clients. Anyway, let's drag that into Blender and see what we're up to. So this is Blender, if you didn't know. Oh, why can I not move this? It's just scaling. Anyway, that's not usually how I do it anyway. So Alt-R will remove any rotation, and Alt-G will put it into position. So that's a nice easy way of getting a character sheet into the middle. We want it to be upright, so rotate around the X 90, and I need my display keys on, don't I? Now, I'm not so sure about this webcam image. Is this useful to you? I've turned it off now. Is that useful? Because we might want to be able to see what's down here. So let me know, webcam or no webcam, let me know. Yeah, in the picture I did a sci-fi woman because I hadn't done the character yet, so it was sort of like a... I'm just sort of seeing what people are writing here. Where was I? Oh, my brain. What's wrong with my brain today? Yeah, so, webcam or not? No webcam, not really. I think it's kind of pointless, isn't it? If I have something to show what I'm doing on the screen, then I'll use it. But I don't think it's... Yeah, no webcam for now. Yep, turn it off. Whoa, easy there, easy. Everybody's saying, I hate that webcam. No, quite right. We need to be able to see what's going on. Love your face, but webcam off, please. That's a nice way of putting it. I like that. A diplomatic way of putting it. Okay, so yeah, just checking we're all good, and we've got the character sheet in. So do I delete the default cube at the moment? I am, because I don't need it in the way for now. With character sheets, I think it's always good to grab it and pull it backwards and then start working in front of the character sheet. generally speaking, I mean, I might with this one because I think they've done a really great job with this character sheet. They said they struggled loads and they're not an artist and all this sort of stuff, but I think this is a pretty good character sheet. Really, I think it's fantastic. The thing they struggled with the most was the hair. So if I move in, you can see that they circled this green, saying this is okay, but couldn't do it over here, sort of thing. But that's pretty good, I think. I think that's a fantastic job. And what most people get wrong, and I suppose it's slightly not quite correct here. When you're doing a character, give them sort of posture, shoulders back and that sort of thing. So a bit more of a curve, but there's enough of a curve here to work with, so that's good. Okay, so if we want a side view as well, we can just Shift D to duplicate and rotate. In fact, I won't move it. I'll just rotate it around the Z 90 degrees. Oh, I didn't duplicate. That's weird. Let's try that again. Shift D to duplicate, R, Z, 90. Oh, I haven't got my shortcut keys on. Shortcut keys are by J&M, and he made this little add-on here. Now, is that okay? That's not gonna get in anybody's way. That's good. Is default cube an imposter? Not the real default cube? Is that what's happening? I can't keep up with the chat. Actually, there's too many people chatting. Well, there's 340. Why is there suddenly loads of people? Is it the subject, I wonder, that people are interested in? Yeah. Sorry that I deleted the default cube. I feel bad. But seeing as the default cube was an imposter on here, it wasn't even the real default cube. Anyway, grab in the X and move that back over here. And then I suppose we'll want to use this image in the middle. So let's go to front view, grab that in the X and make sure it's in the middle-ish. You can never get it precise. It's always tough to get it precise. And it doesn't really matter that much anyway. Grab in the X, about there. And the Y is off to the side, but we want the side view. So let's grab in the Y and bring that backwards over to here like that. In fact, we're going to model in the front. What am I talking about? Over to here like that is what I should have said. Okay, so now I've got those into position. I can bring the default cube back, perhaps. I'll bring him back. Here he comes. Ta-da! Lovely job. And I'll scale him down and remove the scale. Now, lots of people say, why does Blender have the option of, this is Control A, I'm pressing here, of removing the scale. Not removing the scale, applying the scale. So, as you hopefully all know, up here, we've got the scale there. It should all be set to 1, especially when you go into sculpt mode. Otherwise, it will try and sculpt with the scale in mind. So if you've got a huge Z-axis scale, it'll be distorting that. You see what I mean anyway. How do you keep yourself healthy with this kind of job? Your workout routine, dealing with anxieties. Diet and exercise. I'm absolutely positive that's why I'm such a happy chappy. So, where's the 2 times speed option here? Am I going a bit slowly, am I? I'm sorry about that. You could always watch it later. You don't have to be on the live stream and go 2 times speed there, because I am going pretty slowly, I'm afraid. I like to have a chat while I'm doing these, so you have to put up with my personality a bit as well. It's your own faults for being interested in Blender. Don't know what I'm talking about now. Straight work through. I'm not going to do the whole character today. I'll probably do most of the sort of body sculpt and blocking out and things. Just to sort of, so hopefully people don't mind that I try and relax a bit when I'm doing this and have a chat whilst doing it. And that's what I find fun. That's why I'm able to do it and keep interested. But yes, so about the anxiety. I have a vegan diet. That's not actually to do with being animal friendly, although that's a good bonus, obviously, isn't it? But it's actually for health reasons. Apparently, it's a really good diet to have for health reasons. But I will be rigging it later on. Yes, indeed, rigging the character. It's hard. It's like talking to loads of people at once, isn't it? And the more people on here, I think you have to grant Abbitt by the looks of things, because it's not coming up yellow. Hey, Gambello, vegan as well. There we go. Vegans are sexy, aren't we? Just yes. Although I'm not a sort of vegan Nazi. That's a dreadful term, but some people. I'm going to subdivide the cube, so Control 5 to subdivide it, and apply that subdivision surface modifier just there. So subdivide with Control 5, and that gives you 5 subdivisions, and apply it. that gives you a sort of roundish cube to work with. Yes, retopology as well. Yep. How much farmland displaces wildlife, though? Oh man, there's lots of arguments, but generally speaking, most of the arguments are usually I still want to eat meat, so I'm going to try and justify it. Eat meat if you like. It's not. I'm not criticizing anybody who does, but as a healthy diet, I guarantee I've got a watch. And I map how far I'm running when I'm playing things like five-a-side. I was a vegan for a couple of weeks, and I went 2k further than I did the previous weeks. I haven't been injured since I've been a vegan as well, and I was Mr. Injury, Mr. Glass. Can you remember that film? What was it? Unbreakable. Unbreakable, was it? Mr. Glass, the character who just got injured all the time. But that's who I was. So I could only play like every 2 weeks because I'd always be injured. Since becoming a vegan, stopped getting injured. Anyway, enough of the... my teeth look low poly. They do indeed, don't they? I know. That's just mean. My teeth. Anyway, let's scale that down again. Oh, I've scaled it again. So let's apply the scale. And let's just get it into position so it's around the face there. And now we can just move across the sculpt mode. And luckily... all my reference images are ready. I've got my little glove. When you've got a screen tablet, I think it's good to have a glove if I can put it on properly. Oh, it's a bit filthy actually. Got a bit of dust on there. Because you're across your screen, and it helps you slide across your screen. But generally, I don't bother with the other sort of tablets. I don't find it matters that much with a glove. It might help. You might find it helpful. Is it okay to model a character with only poly modeling, or should I make them by sculpting and then retopology? Whatever's best for you and gets the best results. I do a sculpting workflow because it's sort of the arty workflow. But lots of people can do it by polygon modeling, and actually you can skip a step in a sense because you don't have to retopologize because you've already got the retopology there. The only problem is you might want to use something like the multi-resolution modifier. No, not the multi-resolution modifier, which is that one there, and then you can sculpt in some detail afterwards. Look that up if you're not sure about that. Hello, Gavin. Hello. There's too many people to say hello to. I'm just having a quick look at the stream. There's 100 likes already. That's lovely. Thanks very much. Will you sketch it out with metaballs? Metaballs, I don't know. Votes for metaballs, people. Would people like me to see a building with metaballs? I find they're not necessary now we've got the remesh option up here, because you can just put shapes in and then remesh them really quickly. That's a fantastic feature, this is. Pretty darn awesome, it's got to be said. Anyway, I suppose, shall I block out first? Because usually I do a face and then I start, because it's fun to do a face, but I ought to block out first and then do the the details. Because that's how you should always work, isn't it? You should always block out, then detail. So I'm going to scale this in a bit more, get it right into position, just making sure that the x-axis location is at 0, because that's going to help when I think about mirroring later on. And it'll come in handy when it comes to rigging as well. Just making sure everything's right down the middle is better. I eat oxygen and breathe renders. I'm not a healthy man. Tobananza. There's some funny people out there, and I'm sure I've heard of someone saying they live off air and seriously thinking they did. Who knows, eh? Who knows? Roughly what triangle count are you aiming for to have for this character once finished? Now, they haven't given me a poly count, which is unusual, but it's a 2D game. It's sort of post-apocalyptic, and this is going to be used for the cutscenes. So in a sense, I can go fairly high poly, but obviously you've still got to think about render times. And good topology is always good to work with as well. Yes, given you have to attend detention for being late. I'm a very easygoing teacher, actually. I haven't given a detention. In fact, we're sixth form college, so I don't give detentions. What am I talking about? Right, let's come here and let's add a cylinder. We're quite small, aren't we? So let's bring that down. Did I go minus on the scale? I did. I don't like doing that. That's upsetting me. So I'm going to do that. I mean, I'm going to reset the scale anyway, but let's just line these things up a bit. Grabbing the Z-axis to about there. Let's bring in a cube for this bit. Everything's massive because I've scaled it down. I'm not really sure why I scaled it down so small. I really ought to measure the height, shouldn't I? That was ridiculous of me. Yeah, it doesn't matter. It makes very little difference, in my opinion, when you're dealing with these things. If you're going to go and print out 3D, then you need to know the dimensions. What are these? They're across here, aren't they? Are they across here? Or in here? Oh, where are they these days? Oh, scene settings, isn't it? Probably. Units, there we go. So if default is metric, so your default cube, when it says it here in dimensions, so this is only really small. So it's 13 centimeters. But if you were going to 3D print, then you need to know those scales. Lots of people say that they have issues when they get sent stuff to print. It's like absolutely massive, so watch out for the scale. But generally, I don't think about it when I'm sculpting because I could just scale up or not. Sorry, the Art Kid, what's your question? Please answer my question. What are you good at when you have... what are you good at when you have to colour? Oh, and by the way, mine is oil pastel for now. Please answer. Well, I haven't used traditional art media for an awful long time. I'm scaling the x-axis. So it's, unfortunately, I used to be oil pastels, really, and pastels just generally, sort of charcoal type pastels, what are they called, you know, those. That was my thing when I was doing A-levels, but I haven't used them for years. Anyway, let's extrude this down here and scale it in like this. I'm doing so really basic blocking out. That's really basic because that's not even hitting the character model. Now really they should go in a bit more at the waist there, I'm thinking. So looking at the character reference, interesting. It sort of goes out of the waist. It's sort of like we're seeing it in perspective. Is it unrealistic to learn modelling, sculpting, animation all on your own as a beginner? 6 months now. Nope, that's how I learn. It takes time though, that's the only thing. It takes time. So I don't know whether I put it in the description or not, but I think a great introductory course is, although I've got lots on my website, and that's why, because when I was learning, it was tough. It was really tough. I mean, YouTube didn't exist when I first started doing this, and modelling in 3D and things. Just sort of seeing whether this is working or not. It was, yeah, that was tough going. What am I doing here? I'm too busy talking and trying to model at the same time. So it's quite a tough one. Let's get that front face there and just get some rough shape at least. Obviously I can just sculpt this out, so I don't know why I'm being so precise really. We'll do a new shape for the other bits. That looks a bit weird, doesn't it? No, we're okay. I probably should do a separate object for the torso. I don't know. Yeah, anyway, where was I? Yeah, so yeah, if I can do it when there's no YouTube, and now there's just a wealth of courses out there for free on YouTube. If you want a paid for one, I thoroughly recommend Zacharias Reinhardt's CG Boost's beginner guide. That's good stuff, that is. I think there's a link in the description for that, which is an affiliated link, and you'll be supporting me if you click on it. But that's not my motivation for saying that. I think it is a really good course. It's slightly frustrating how good it is as well, because I thought my tutorials were good, but his that was good stuff. I tell you, when I saw that, I thought, I've got to up my game. Okay, just sort of moving these blocks into position. I suppose I can mirror this anyway, so I don't need to do both sides, because you can, with the remesh, you can sort of mirror really easily. Let's just put that down there. Cool, that's a mess, isn't it? Don't model like this. Don't try this at home, kids. This is dreadful. But you're sort of getting the idea of what I'm doing. A really easy, straightforward block character. You need to overlap your meshes, if that makes sense, so that you can easily join them together with the remesh. They'll remesh when they're joined together. So I could do that now, actually. If I take this. Actually, do I want to do it? I suppose, actually, lots of people do this quite clear. You say I'm naughty, and I tend to do it all in one shape, but that's a really bad idea, because where there's obvious cuts, so here, so I can do the face and or head and neck together, and then cut where it breaks apart. And that I can then hide meshes and things like that. So I should be doing that really, shouldn't I? See you later, Sadar Cobb. But yes, you can always catch up later. It's a little bit easier to do it like this, default cube, than it is to work. So, in fact, I'll show you what I mean. So, if you try and start with, let's shift and let's create a cube here, scale it down. So you see it there, right? And let's go to sculpt mode and try and start sculpting this. So, I'll put Dyne Topo on. You always get that error message, and it's because it's got a UV map. You can get rid of that by coming down here and deleting the UV map, and then when you go to Dyne Topo, it'll start working. So with the draw brush, yep, it's working. So yeah, I can get the, with Dyne Topo selected, I can go to the snake hook tool, and I can start pulling it about and trying to get a neck coming out of here, and then maybe some shoulders. But then where's it going? And it's sort of pulling out. It's doable. It's doable, and I've done it like this before, just all sculpting, and I quite like that actually. It's a bit more relaxing like this. But can you see, if I isolate this a second, you've got these gaps, and they're really awkward, so you're better off blocking out first. And it doesn't take long to block out unless you're chatting to 370 people. Wow, that's pretty weird. That is surprising. Jason, that's a good name, Jason the Great Awakening. Glad you're enjoying the beginner vids. So I'm struggling to keep up with this amount of people chatting. If you've got a specific question, thank you very much, Loki Sonari. Loki, that's a cool name. 39 somethings. That's really cool. Thank you very much. Very much appreciated. Any support like that's great. If watching an advert is great as well. If you can't feel you can support me in that way, really appreciate that. Thank you, Loki Sonari. Am I pronouncing that right? Anyway, so let's delete this. Get back to layout mode. Delete that horrendous mess there, and let's press N to get rid of that panel there. Just checking my stream and everything's good. So yeah, so if you've got a question, make sure you @Grant Abbitt, and then it will come up orangey in my stream, and then I can focus on the questions. So because there's just too much happening. Can we get character sheet for practice purposes? Well, yes, there's loads online. If you type in character turnaround, there's millions. Well, there's not millions. There probably is millions, actually. But there's an awful lot. Yeah. If you wanted to follow along, I'll ask Raymond if he doesn't mind sharing his character sheet. I'm not sure how he'll feel about that. He might be okay. So you can see I'm doing this really roughly at the moment in what I'm doing here. Let's go to side view. I always press the wrong button when I go to side view. Anybody else do that? When you're thinking side view and you press 1 on your numpad. Dreadful. Hello, Grisha oh, I can't pronounce it. Hello to you. Like this. That's good. Good that you're liking it. There's loads of people watching. I'm a little bit concerned actually. Why? What's going on? There's nothing on television tonight or something. It's making me a bit nervous actually. It's making me nervous. Go away, everybody. Anyway, so let's click on this shape down here. I'm really enjoying the live streams. It is great fun, and plenty more to come. And I think I'll get more experience at it. Like here, I'm just thinking, what on earth do I respond to? Because there's so many people. But that's the part I find the most fun, is chatting to people that are here. So, is it better to model in a T pose or an A pose? It doesn't make too much difference. But in this case, can you see in here? That's a good question. CPU 1D10T. No, that's not the right question. The stream's moving too fast. But anyway, I'm missing the questions as well. So can you see here? They're quite close. And then when it comes to rigging, if your mesh is close to each other, so under here, and it's quite close, you might get problems weight painting. So you do have to consider that a bit. So I might want to, I'll probably do the arms separately because it's easy to separate with that piece of cloth there, and then I'll be able to rotate them upwards easily. Or I can use the new, what is that brush? Let's go to sculpting mode. It's the new pose brush. Oh, look at that. I'm quite excited. I haven't done much. Oh yeah, look, I've got an error message going to sculpt mode then, and we'll talk about that in a minute. Right, let's see what other people are saying. Would it help if we looked the other way? Yes, that's a good idea. If you could all not look at the screen and take your headphones out, but keep watching. Brilliant. CPU idiot. Yeah, that's quite clever with the ones. Yeah, clever. Engage slow. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm going slowly, and that's my concern actually, because there's so many people, so much chat. I'm just going to go really, really slowly. So I do apologise if it's too slow for anybody. But it's probably best. I mean, I'm hoping to do a sort of series of this where it's a bit more precise. But if you want to be able to answer if you want me to answer your questions, try and say that, then watching live is probably a better way, of course, isn't it? So there's the arm coming down there. Oh, that's a good arm, that, isn't it? Do you know, I'm just going to leave it like that and send it off to the client. I reckon they'll be well impressed. Look at that. Absolute monstrosity. Loving it. I suppose what I might do with the metaballs, I might do the hand with the metaballs, because that's quite a good one. But we might leave that for another time and be a sort of sculpting hand one. If you're blocking out your viewer counts so you don't see it, makes streaming more relaxing. True, do you know, I'm not actually that worried, to be honest. I pretend to be nervous, but I suppose I'd be nervous if there were 10 people or 1,000 people, to be honest. It's just staring at a camera, isn't it? So what's making me more nervous is trying to read all the comments. No engage slow cheat mode. So it wasn't commenting on how slowly I'm going. That's all right then. Tell me if you would like me to speed up, just by saying speed up or slow down, because then I'll see a stream of them, or same, and then I know that I'm going at the right pace. But if I need to speed up, that's fair enough. Like I say, I'm still learning how to live stream, as well as, you know, I'm still learning Blender. It's got to be said, there's lots and lots I don't know about Blender, and there's an assumption that after, I don't know how many years I've been doing this, that I should know all the ins and outs. And I get questions about things like particle systems, which I very rarely use. I've used them, obviously. Now, speed up. Oh, okay. Same. Slow. I see. Slow chat mode, not cheat mode. Did I say cheat mode earlier? Is there? Oh, I see. That's a clever idea. Is there options to slow this down then, is there? God, I don't know what's going on. It's all too complicated, but we'll get there. So a few people saying most is sort of same to speed up, so I'll go a little bit faster if I can. Are you planning to rig the character? Yes, indeed. Yep. So I was saying slower. The setting individual objects, then remeshing help with deformation when animating. Yes. Yes. Having separate objects is a bit easier for animating. So if you've got this is quite good for animating, this is, because you've got an easy break here, and the arm should move quite freely without disturbing the mesh on this side. So it depends. If you want a very realistic looking character, then you need it all joined together. But more simple forms, you can have separate meshes, and it's a bit easier. Okay, so for the arms for the head and neck, let's remesh them. So Control J to join. Before you do this, make sure that the scale is correct, and it isn't. So Control A, set the scale, and let's go across to sculpting mode, and then I should be able to. This is the cool. Let's see the detail. Oh, detail mode needs to go way down. Oh, it's because I am very small, you see. So this number here, voxel size, so that's 10 centimeters. You have to think. So obviously I need to come down quite a way there, probably somewhere around there, and remesh. But it does depend on the size of your object. Lots of people follow my tutorials and say, why is my detail size different to yours? It's because the size of your object is different. Yep. We'll talk about seams and things like that later, in later episodes. Hair particles or hair mesh depends on the poly count that you're going for. The hair particles are quite cool, it's got to be said. But let's just come over to here and start. I'll probably keep the torso as it is and do the legs as one object, and then the foot as one object. So let's Control J, join those, Control A to scale. Thank you for existing. I love that. Thank you very much. How do you make hard surface sculpting? You generally don't, to be honest. I mean, you can. It's getting better all the time. but it's hard work to get sort of, like if you wanted to do a mech, for example, sculpting, I just don't do it, do box modeling instead. Back to sculpt mode, and did I set the scale for that? I think I did, remesh, and oh, I thought that would have changed to the other size. Oh, because it's a new object, it's not going to change, is it? So let's just type this in. 0.01 should be the right size, I think. Yeah, I can see it's the right size. It's getting sort of blocky. I mean, that's pretty dreadful, but I can smooth that out and reshape it as I go. So I just got a really, really rubbish base mesh here. But that's cool. That's no problem. I think, can I... yeah, I'm just trying to remember, actually, because I don't often... Oh, I haven't done this one yet. Control J to join. Control A to set the scale, and then across to sculpt mode and remesh. And 0.01. Oop, 0.01. Remesh. Now, interestingly, if I do a mirror on this, because I'm not sure the mirror modifier works with sculpting. I don't think it does, but... Oh, I'm in sculpt mode. Oh, that's very interesting. In the x-axis, and I'm going to use this object as the mirror. Okay, so if you don't know the mirror object option there, you can click on an object and have that as your mirror point. Now, there's this really useful tool here. Yeah, when it comes to the clothing, I will do those as separate objects completely. Yeah, I'm doing the base mesh of the human. I probably won't do feet, and I probably will do the shoes. But when it comes to the clothing, it's actually fairly easy to take your base mesh and add clothes to the top of it. So I'll probably do it that way. I'll do very non-detailed arms and torso just for the shape, and then sort of plonk the clothes on top of that. That's what I'm thinking. Mirror modifier in sculpt mode degrades performance. Yes, I'll turn it on and off. It's just so I can sort of see the symmetry. That's what I'm thinking. Guy's head looks dreadful, doesn't it? Really small. First of all, so when you're doing a base mesh, it can be really simple like this. It's just really basic. It shouldn't take you half an hour, though, that it's taken me. I'm not merging all the objects because I could increase performance by separating them out if I need to. Thank you very much, Veikk Fox Velmo. Veikk Fox Velmo, that's an interesting name. Can you say, hey Combi, don't lazy and don't. I'm assuming that's don't be lazy and work on your 3D. So hey Combi, is it Combi? Don't be lazy and work on your 3D. Yep, your 3D. For €2 you can make me say something. Cool stuff. Okay, so where was I? So I'll do the hands a bit later, and I'll join those in later, but we'll just work on this for now. I'll probably work on the head shape the most. I suppose what we need to do as well is remesh this one as well. So go across the remesh, the mesh, the remesh, and remesh. That looked like it didn't work. How very dare you. Let's try that again. I suppose what I need to probably do... do you notice I'm switching between layout and sculpt mode rather than going up here and going to object mode, because that's 2 clicks and this is 1 click. Anyway, hello Interpixel. Nice to see you again. So Control A, set the scale. Let's go across the sculpt mode and see if that will work this time. So set the remesh. There we go, it worked that time. But obviously just didn't click the button. And we'll probably remesh the shoe later on. But let's get into some sculpting, because I think you're probably all bored by now. Can you apply the mirror modifier and just turn on symmetry in sculpt mode? Do you know, that's weirdly, I hadn't thought about that, but that's actually a really good point. I'm going to try that because I think that will work, won't it? Yeah, why can I not just apply the mirror modifier? I don't know if I can do it this way, so that's why I'm thinking that's a clever idea. So I apply the mirror modifier, and now when I'm sculpting, it's automatically in sculpt. Symmetry is always on in the x-axis. That's why I should always model with the x-axis going this way. Can you see my Cartesian coordinates up here? So when I move this around now, it's not mirrored. So the object origin isn't in the right place, is it, at that point? So I need to reset the origin. There we go. Yep. I'm just sort of thinking out loud there. So now if I press this, right-click origin, origin to geometry, it should go in the middle of. Yeah, there we go. And it works. That's a great idea, actually. Why didn't I not think of that? Silly me. But why sculpt and layout flick? Doesn't tab jump? I suppose that you can. What's it? Is it Control Tab now? And I can go this way, or I can go up here and press like this. Control tab is the pie menu. I'm not a pie menu fan. Lots of people love pie menus and they sort of flick around the place, and now they're in weight paint mode, and I don't know what mode I'm in now because I'm flicking and no idea where it is. But it's pretty cool. But I need to get better, Grant. Let's mirror this one as well then and do the same. Mirror in this object, and then we will apply the mirror, and then we'll right click and set origin to geometry, and then when we sculpt, it's going to be mirrored. Nice work, whoever said that. I'm sorry. I like to say people's names, but unfortunately, it's just moving too fast for me. Actually, we seem to have slowed down a bit. That's good. Cool. My lips they're dry. I'm talking too much. Cheers. Right. Hey, why don't you use metaballs for blocking out? Because of the remesh option being so much quicker. I used to use metaballs, but now the remesh, you just press Control J and remesh. Absolutely delicious. Don't know why I'm saying it like that. Okay, let's get into sculpt mode. But before I do that, only 40 minutes in and we haven't started sculpting yet. So edit mode, and you see this lock object modes button here. That's really useful. If I untick that, I say it's really useful. It's really useful to untick that. It's useful to have. So if I press on this and this, now I can go into edit mode with both. And I think that's why we have that functionality now. But if I want to go, let's start sculpting on this one, let's say. So let's say I'll just go to sculpt mode here and start. Why is that not doing anything? And why is my brush going all weird? Or something's gone wrong. That's probably the rotation actually, isn't it? That's very interesting. Okay, let's try and figure that one out. So Control A, let's just set the rotation as well. In fact, rotation and scale, it has that purposely because rotation and scale are the two things that are likely to kind of mess your stuff up. So let's try that and sculpt again. Well, it's there, but it's not actually painting. Oh, it's because I've got Dyn Topo off. There we go. Okay, so now I want to move onto this shape, and I have to go up here to object mode, across to this shape, which is in object mode, and back to sculpt mode. Okay, so that's what I have to do at the moment. I'm just going to check this is going to work as well. Dyn Topo. That's fine, that's working. Okay, so I don't want to have to do that. If I untick this lock object modes, then I can now Alt, I'm holding down Alt at the moment, and left click, and it's saying, oh, there's an empty. Oh, the empty in the background, that's going to be annoying, isn't it? I think I can turn off selection. You see this little filter icon up here? You've got selection and render as well. I wish they used to have that by default, and they said it was too confusing, but it's massively confusing when you hide your object and then it still renders. So I think that's more confusing personally. Anyway, I should be able to turn this off so we can't select it. Now when I press Alt left click, it selects that and it will select it in the mode it was last in. So if I change this to sculpt mode, go to this one, we're in sculpt mode, so I can not sculpt for some reason. I feel like there's some sort of glitch happening here. There is definitely some sort of glitch, isn't there? Well, that's fascinating because it's digging into my shape and smoothing it out. We'll figure that out in a second, but now I can press Alt and click on this and then start sculpting on this as well. There is surely something wrong because it's digging into my mesh. Let's have a look at the tools and see what I'm doing. We've got add-on. I'm going to go down to Dyn Topo and change to I'd prefer to be in constant detail, and I know because relative detail is moving in and out and it will change your resolution. If I change to constant detail, I know exactly what size it's going to be. And let's just go to 11 and see what it does. So this all depends on, again, the size of your mesh. And it's digging into my mesh, isn't it? Right, so let's have a look at the facial orientation. That's really confusing, actually. I think there's some sort of glitch. Anybody, any ideas? Just looking at the chat. Yeah, the hidden objects thing is really irritating, isn't it? My normals aren't backwards because that's what I was checking. I was checking the face orientation, and they're correct. Yeah, you would have thought recalculate normals would do that, but it can't be. Should I do it anyway? Let's go back. I'm going to go back to object mode and just change this to object mode so I know still there. Let's go to edit mode, select all, Shift N should reverse your, or recalculate your normals, as you can see up there. And now let's try sculpting again. My brush just isn't, I'm sure this is a glitch. Oh, it's working when oh, now that's really interesting. I've got my pen tablet on now. I can do my special, wait for it. Oh, it's taking me too long, isn't it? But if I bring up my webcam, you can see now I'm using I was using the mouse before, and now I can do it fine. But if I use my mouse, now it's working on my mouse. That's weird. Oh, that is weird. Something was going weird there. So let's alt right click on this one and go to sculpt mode with this one, and try it with the mouse. Oh, now it's working with the mouse. So I didn't reverse the normal. So it was just a glitch. Just a glitch. Anyway, I'd like to see more interesting and long comments to Gantt. It slows down the comments and I learn a lot more. I'm not sure what you mean there, Interpixel. Do you know the hotkey for this with the emulate 3-button mouse? Generally, why are you emulating three-button mouse? If you've got a graphics tablet, you need to go into your graphics tablet setting. I'll show you that actually, because I think that's really useful for people. So which screen have I got enabled? Yep, this one here. So under my devices, I've got the pen settings. The easy way is just set your pen button so that it is middle click, and then you don't have to emulate three-button mouse. It's quite a pain otherwise. But yeah, there's probably other ways of doing things with the emulate 3-button mouse. But how does the alt work if it's already being emulated? I'm not sure actually. It's worth asking someone who knows. What a silly person I am sometimes. Anyway, let's get on with some sculpting, shall we? Okay, so what am I doing? Why am I not moving? Now it's not working. This is interesting. It's all glitching. Nope, we're back. We're back. Oh, it's being a bit glitchy today. I'm not sure what's going on. Oh yeah, there are lots of people, aren't there? This is so I'll remind people what's going on. I'll turn my webcam off because I don't need that anymore. This is a commission piece from someone called Raymond, so this is sort of a post-apocalyptic character. They had a name for it, and you see, because I'm not a gamer, even though I love games, I try not to game because it's too addictive and I don't get any work done. But it's Metroidvian. No, that's probably not right. Metroidvania style 2D game, heavily inspired by Castlevania, which I have seen a bit of Castlevania, and Hollow Knight. When I've seen the graphics of Hollow Knight, never played it. So that's the thinking. I've got some reference images. I'll show you my reference images just quickly so you can see what I'm up to. So lots over here. I'm using this so I can see myself. What am I doing? So sort of anime characters to get an idea, because anime faces, I haven't modelled anime faces before. Well, that's a lie, actually. I have, but not... I don't know, there's... actually, I have. So what am I talking about? I always make them a bit more realistic, so I don't know whether that's going to work for Raymond's style or not. But he did send through this... Where is it gone? This character here that he quite liked. So I'm thinking that's sort of slightly realistic in terms of the nose and mouth. Hopefully I'm making sense in this. Because I'm not a big fan of pointy noses. So up here... so it might annoy people, but they're really pointy and sticky, and I don't know, it loses something for me. I can see why they do that as an art style, because it's quicker to draw, isn't it? So if you're animating frame by frame, then you need to be able to... So I see how it developed, but I don't like it. Weirdly, I quite like the big eyes. That's kind of cute and interesting, and everything else fine, but the noses annoy me, so I'd rather do... Well, you can see this nose is all right, isn't it? And it's still an anime character. So I'll probably go more along this direction for the facial features. So that's what we're doing. Hair's going to be a bit like this. So they sent a few images through, as you can see there, and sort of ideas of the trousers and stuff. This character is actually supposed to be a fisherman, and with a magical rod. Which sounds slightly phallic now I've just said it like that. This is quite cool, isn't it? So I don't know, anybody's played Chasm, the best non-Metroid game, so shouldn't be like this, but this is quite a cool character. So if we can get it looking anywhere near as cool as that, that'd be superb, wouldn't it? Anyway, let's get back to the stream. Oh, thank you very much, Charles McDonald. You're back, and it's with some more cash. It's very nice of you. Don't feel you have to do that every time you come along. It's really good of you. I really appreciate it. Very kind once again. The only problem with this is when people send me some money through, I want to be able to thank them. It's very difficult for me to get in touch with you, so I tried getting in touch with you through your YouTube channel, and the only way was to leave a comment on one of your videos and say thanks very much. That's the only way I could find, anyway. Have you used Vroid Studio or Manual Bastioni Laboratory for Blender? No, not at all. Not even sure what they are, actually. I'll have to look them up. Thanks for making me aware. Can you remind me about that, because I'll forget, and maybe send me a direct message or comment in the below, and then I'll read it again, and I'll have time to actually look at it. That's cool. Okay, so where are we? Just check in if everybody's happy. Let me know where you're from. That's an easy one for me to just quickly look at, and I do like to know where people are from for some reason. It just brings a smile to my face, the magic of the internet. I'm sounding like a boomer, I know, but I'm not a boomer. Stop it. But I'd just like to know where people are from. MB Lab is Make Human Style plugin for Blender. Yeah, I always call them plugins instead of add-ons. Right, I've got my glove on now, and we're ready to start sculpting. I just get the shape of the head. So I've got this really rubbish sphere. It's wow. There's Finland, Brazil, Israel, India, Slovakia, Armenia. Oh, there's loads of people everywhere. It's almost 1 a.m. Captain Awesome, you are being awesome at the moment at 1 a.m. in Australia. That's crazy, man. There's loads with Nepal. Interesting. Oh, there's a couple in Nepal. Look at that. USA, a few in USA. New Zealand, 6 a.m. in 6 a.m. in New Zealand. My brother lives in New Zealand. I've said that before many times. Egypt. Oh, look at this. On a rock in space. There's always someone who said something silly. If you are not a boomer, then you're a zoomer. I must be a zoomer. Right, let's get the let's get the snake hook tool. I just pressed G by accident, so snake hook again. So snake hook tool will work with Dine Topo. God, look at all these. Sheffield, there we go. Someone from the UK. That's nice. Why is my snake hook tool not working? Have I got the right model selected? Alt, left click. There we go. I didn't have the right thing selected. So let's go to sculpt mode with this. And then let's start purling this around into position. Purl it in down here. Probably should have separated it from the neck. Doesn't matter too much. Oh, now we haven't got Dine Topo turned on. Can you see I'm stretching it? The snake hook tool will only stretch your topology unless you have Dine Topo on. And then suddenly, ta-da, you can see it making inroads into the shape. I'll probably go to 30, I think, on the constant detail. So I'm on constant detail. That's one thing I've got to learn a little bit of, that some people might have just joined the stream. Someone from Cornwall as well. Saudi Arabia. Yeah, Red Dragon, you're a boomer. With the whole streaming thing is trying to get used to the idea that people may have just joined, so filling you in. So I'll fill you in again. Oh, look at that. It looks dreadful. You see, that is the problem you get. If you don't block out properly, it will stretch and you're doing loads of detail at the front and suddenly you realise you haven't got your shape. Can you see that I'm doing it really low detail as well? That's really important. Start off with, as any piece of artwork, generally speaking, you sort of block out first and get your shapes first. And then that's when you start adding the detail second. God, my shape is all out of whack, isn't it? I'm going to go to this one quickly. There's 2 cubes there. That's the only thing about Alt left clicking or Alt tapping if you got one of these. Oh, thank you very much, David J. How's it going? I love the emoji. That's a cool little emoji. Thank you very much for that. Much appreciated. Oh, this is getting even more fun for me with some getting some cash. Oh, I love it. Thank you very much. It's really appreciated. But again, don't feel you have to. You can support me as well by watching the adverts. That's great. And I think people have started to do that more as I've asked, which maybe I shouldn't. Maybe it's rude to ask. But it really means that I'm able to make an income out of this and do more streams. Hence why I seem to be streaming all the time, but probably not as much as gaming people. They stream masses, don't they? But I'm a boomer, so I don't know about that. I'm not a boomer. Thanks again, David J. Where are we? So looking at our model, I'm just roughly matching it up a bit. I'm not going overboard with this, as you can probably tell. But I'm getting bit shape. Looks a little bit weird at the moment. We got his bum going out there, and I call him Square Man. Looking good. Let's go to the front view and just flesh this out. Now, a few of the reference images I've got is I thought I'd discuss that slightly as well. Up here, I've also got down here. I've got a few sort of human figures to look at. Am I back? Can we go live? Still saying no data. Why is still saying no data? No, you're not working. Oh, killing me. Oh, are we back? Are we back? I think we are back. Oh, look, we're back. That's a killer, isn't it? Absolute killer. This is the frustrating stuff. So I've had loads of problems with my internet, and it keeps cutting out. But the engineers were over today, and it was supposed to be fixed, but it obviously isn't. I think it may just be my router. So hopefully, getting a new router soon will fix that. Oh, anyway, let me know if we're all okay. Sorry about that. See, that is a bit of a killer, isn't it? Had there was quite a lot of people. I was really excited. I had loads of people watching, and who's going to watch a black screen, eh? Anyway, so I was talking about, I don't know when it quite cut out, but it says excellent connection now, doesn't it? Who knows what's wrong? So it just drops out every now and again, and it's dropped. That's like the 6th time today. So if it drops out again, I'll just wait a few minutes, and hopefully it'll pick up again. Anyway, we're back. So I can't see anybody chatting at the moment. So, well, it says there's a few viewers again. So we're building back up. That's great to see. Thanks for sticking with me and not giving up on me. I appreciate it. Okay, so what I was saying. So I've got a couple of reference images. So this is sort of like a really muscly. Who's this? This is sort of like what's his name? Batman person. Anyway. It's in my head somewhere. So it's sort of muscly, but this character I think is going to be a bit sort of in between the two. So I've got a reference there. And can you see that sort of posture thing that I was talking about earlier? So this character sheet hasn't got it so much. It's not bad. It's a good character sheet still. But I'm sort of looking at this as well for my reference. So I thought I'd point that out. We're still connected, so we're still good. Let's just go back to my sheet here. Okay, so let's Alt left click on this guy here and start messing with his head. There we go. Weirdly, the chat is not coming up at all. Hopefully I'm still live. It does say there's lots of viewers, so it says unable to connect to chat, so I cannot see my chat, unfortunately. I'm going to try and just connect by pressing hi. And let me know if people are there. Yes, it will, Daniel G, if you're still with us, be available later on. It does say I'm live, so hopefully, but I'm not getting any chat through. So sorry if you're unable to chat for some reason. Let me know. I bet people are commenting, because usually people are quite nice like that, and they help me out. But I can't see any chat. Don't know what's going on. Let's just quickly check up here. Just seeing what's going on. There's a pop-out chat thing. Okay. Right. I've done a pop-out chat. That's better, actually. That's much easier. Oh, I can put that up there. That's nice. Oh, that's good. Didn't even know that existed. Sorry, I'm new to this. So now it's working for me because I've just jumped it into existence. Oh, well, there's Blackwing. That's the one, isn't it? Bad posture. Okay, just sort of seeing if I've missed anything. There's me saying hi. Hey. Hi. If I refresh, that will probably kill it. So I'm really scared to do that because I don't want to kill it again. Maybe use the armless image on the far right of the turnaround. That's an interesting idea. Where's that then? Oh, look. Who'd have thought there's an armless image over there? Who noticed that? Well done. Thank you, Corey S. You're often helping me out. That's very useful. Appreciated. Okay. Oh, thank you, Chance McDonald. We can with another donation, just to say we can hear you. That's good of you. All right. I think okay. Just check in if I've missed anything. Belidos 3D. I've seen you in the comments before, haven't I? Can you do the stream in a whisper, please? I don't want my boss hearing me watching you. Headphones, that's the only way. And then sort of put a hoodie on or something, I don't know. Can I increase the font scale in my preferences? Don't know, actually. That's a good point, though. Let's have a look. Anybody know where that is? It's going to be interface, I suppose, isn't it? There's a resolution scale. That looks like it is. There we go. So I can do that. I don't like it, though, but I think that makes more sense for me to do that, doesn't it? So you can see what I'm doing. Blender Ustad. Be careful. It's a bit of spamming when you ask people to subscribe to your channel on someone else's stream. Yes, I will be uploading the stream later. So let's get back to the sculpt. Finally, it's looking pretty horrendous, and people are probably thinking, "Is that his sculpting? Oh, why am I even watching this?" Anyway, it's going to get better. I promise. All right, let's bring his chin out. I'm just going to start sculpting the head so we've got something to look at least. Right. So I'm in the blocking out stage still, and I've got the resolution fairly low for the size that my model is anyway. Oh, I just crashed then. There's a full screen option in the window. Oh yeah, it used to not work. So I should try that though. Where's it gone? There used to be toggle window full screen. That should give us a bit more space to work with. It works now. It didn't work with OBS when I used to use it, so I stopped using it. And then I put my sort of please support me stuff at the bottom anyway, so I have very rarely use it. Okay, so we're getting there. Let's go to the draw brush now and just sculpt in a jawline. This neck looks horrendous, so let's pull that out there. Bit of shape around here. Bit of shape. Now, a beginner mistake is to make the front really flat. So they start sculpting from here all the time, and then it's all flat like this, and you need to get that curvature first. So I can dig in a bit with my brush, hold down Control for digging in. So I just need, still suffering from my cold, so I'm going to get a tissue. No one wants to see me with a runny nose, do they? Oh, my tissue's behind my green screen. My bin's behind my green screen. Anyway, so let's, so as I was saying, so round out your face, not that much though, pointy chins and all that. Round out your face. And can you see, it takes a while to get the shape right, but that's really important. So you might think, oh, I'm ready to start doing the detail. Well, certainly you're not. If it looks anything like this, you need to really concentrate on getting that base shape right. Let's just see how we're doing against the reference. Obviously that's in orthographic mode, so it does distort your view slightly. When you go to sort of side view and front view and things, it goes to orthographic mode automatically. Hopefully that makes sense. Sir, please focus on the head proportion. Sometimes it's a little hard to cover the basic shape. Yeah, so can you see that I'm just... I mean, that's something that you need to work on yourself. And in fact, I've got a really useful book. Sorry, going away from my microphone slightly there. But this one I find really helpful, Anatomy for Sculptors. That is some good stuff, but it's very expensive. They've got an online version, which is obviously cheaper and actually slightly more helpful because you can bring your reference images in. I've also got Anatomy for of facial expressions. I asked for them to send it to me and said, can you send it to me and I'll advertise it for you. So here I am advertising it to say thanks because I think it's brilliant. And they don't pay me to say that. They sent it to me already, so I'm not getting anything from advertising it anymore. But there's some really cool stuff in here. In fact, I should have this on my desk in the face section, wherever it's gone, because it's so good. And so you need, ideally, want a reference image. Anatomy for Artists is good too. Yep. So you need that sort of reference image so you can sort of think, because most people just sort of do a round circle, most beginners, so do a sphere and then they start sculpting a nose onto it. But obviously that's not sphere shaped, as you can see there. It's not sphere shaped, is it? And it's got that sort of block there that you need. Yep. So anyway, so I'm going to put this next to me here, although I've got a glass of water there. I'm going to have to just leave it down there. Anyway, there we go. Just having a look at what people are saying now. Okay, so you can see that mine isn't out here enough from that sort of reference to that book. And it's probably not curved around. Oh no, it is. It's sometimes difficult to see, isn't it? So now what you can use is a matte cap and have different ones. Some people like this one. I used to quite like that one, but I don't really care. As long as you can see a shape. Sometimes a shiny one can help to see a topology. But I'll keep it at the roughly default. I quite like this one actually. Anyway, where am I? Hello, Red Elixir. Let's just smooth this out, get the right shape. And I might spend quite a while doing this. I know it's you're probably thinking, well, you're still on the head shape. What are you doing? But that's okay. Well, for me it is. I don't know about you. It's okay to be like that. And spend a while doing this head shape. So I'm going to start sort of digging in a bit around the eyes. And make sure... Now that looks a bit weird, doesn't it? It will get better, I promise. And just sort of get this shape right. I've got the crease brush. I changed it. In fact, I suppose I ought to pull this out. That's quite handy, isn't it? To see what's going on there. And hold down Control to sort of pull outwards with the crease brush. So I'm doing that with a combination with a smooth brush. It's way too far forward, so I can get the grab brush is the easiest way. Make my brush bigger. So brush shortcuts, F has most of your shortcuts in. And F to resize, Shift F to change the strength. And that's about it, isn't it? Are the head, hand, feet separate from the body or connected to it? I'm doing it separate this time. It's something I rarely do. Thank you for calling it me our Lord and Saviour, Daniel. Hopefully I can help people with their Blender issues if they have any. But I don't know about Lord and Saviour. It's probably a little bit extreme. Okay, so we got a bit of a character shape. The nose obviously is slowly taking shape. Can you see it slowly getting there? So there's common things with anatomy. Eyes in the middle of the head. Lots of people put them up towards the top. That's not the case though. They are more towards the middle. And I've said this many times before, but let's use the snake hook now because I might need to create more topology in there. Yeah, so there's 5 eyes in terms of, there aren't actually 5 eyes in your body, in your head, but there's 5 eyes width across your head. So you think about that in terms of eyeball size and things. Hopefully that makes sense. So you can see I'm starting to get the head shape now. It's looking really odd though, isn't he? Let's just go to symmetry and see if I've lined him up a bit. He's a little bit wrong, but I can easily go into object mode and just move the whole thing forward, grabbing the Y slightly. somewhere around there. Interesting. It looks like my nose is so much higher than the character sheet, but the character sheet looks alright though, so maybe I'm going sort of blind to it, which sometimes happens. I find I start sculpting, it looks alright to me, and then I have a break for a little while, and then oh yeah, thanks, save the file, thanks Chris Brown, good idea, appreciate that. File, save as, where am I saving this to? Blender stuff, I'll put this in jobs. I've got a job folder and a Blender folder. And where is my... I don't like the Blender's file system sometimes. I find it a little bit awkward the way they set it up. Jobs, where's Raymond's stuff? There you are at the top there. And I'll call it 1. So I'm just sort of starting out, that should be fine. Okay, so let's bring this down just a touch. You see, that feels too low, but then he's sort of got this sort of looking down a bit like this, hasn't he? Something. Very nice. There we go. Ears are sort of roughly in the centre, aren't they? Looking at other character sheets, make sure I got that right. That part of the ear is in the centre, so the very front of the ear is in the centre, and then it sort of goes backwards from there. So that part in the centre, so that's doing okay. I love this, the snake hook tool, how they changed it, and you can sort of rotate it like this now. That's pretty cool, isn't it? Okay, he's got a very big chin at the moment, so anime characters are a bit more pointy chin, aren't they? And I get the impression that he's sort of a young person, but Raymond didn't say that in the character description how old they were, so I probably need to... I can't imagine I'm going to get very far today in the rate I'm going. Is the cons when making a mirrored unwrap? Yes, yeah. Generally, you don't want to unwrap with a mirror unless you're doing really low poly work. Just having a look at... Did you suffer with procrastination when you were a beginner? Yeah, when you're beginning, and because you're sort of worried about starting sometimes, because you think, oh, well, it's just not going to be very good because you're frustrated, and it's much harder to work, isn't it, as a beginner, and learn because it's just much more effort because you're learning. So yeah, it can be tougher. Now with ears, oh, that's a little bit high. I just do that to start with, and then I start sculpting them in a bit later on, but just to get the shape. So some people sort of create a new shape and then add it to it, but I just do that, and that's fine for me. It roughly gets the shape right, so that's okay, I would say anyway. I haven't really got enough detail on my brush now. Just getting the rough shape of the head. Okay, are we there? Very roughly. Something just doesn't feel quite right about it, actually. It's taken me a little while, this one. It seems a bit too tall. Maybe I'll just work on the body slightly, and that will give me a break to come back to the head. Yeah, the book for human anatomy, that's called Anatomy for Sculptors. Interesting. Try not to swear on the chat, otherwise it won't come up, and I haven't really got time. I suppose I could put someone put someone as a what am I doing here? Alt left click to tap as a moderator, couldn't I? Like I did last time. That was helpful, actually. But yeah, I suppose when talking about anatomy, people might be talking about anatomical references of different parts, and that's fair enough, I suppose. Where are we? Dun, dun, dun. Now that arm is in completely the wrong place. How did I get it so badly wrong? Let's just let that go out there. And I'll move this arm into position. So Alt, left click, and then to object mode, grab in the Y, move it backwards slightly. And just look at the reference. Yeah, so the arm is quite a long way out, really, isn't it? Back? Is it happening again? Oh dear. Come on, guys, come on. I'm talking to the internet guys, the magic internet guys. So that's just not good enough, is it, when your internet drops out like this? Let's see. Well, it says it's connecting. At least it didn't drop out for long this time. Oh, we're back. Sorry about this, guys. It's not much fun, is it? Shall I sing while he's away? If you would, that'd be great. there's some sort of problem. I'm hoping it's just the router, and I can buy a new router, and then we're all ready to go again. That's what the engineer said when he came out today. And that's why I didn't get details about whether I was going to live stream. And he said, no, it's all working now. And it was working really well. And it was really cool. So I thought, excellent, I can do a live stream. Let's quickly get on the case and do a live stream. And here I am. And it's not going very well, is it? Unfortunately. So like I said, I'm not going to do this particularly detailed. I just want to get the shape and his arms into position. Yeah. Probably don't really need that back character sheet so much anymore. So looking where the arm bends around here. So just get a sort of elbowy shape. But he's obviously got, where's my, but it says I'm live, but then it's got this dreadful looking thing going on. Oh, yeah. I think I'm going to have to abandon this, aren't I? Because it's just not happening for me, is it? Oh no. It's a shame. Really sorry about this. I suppose I'll stick around and answer a few questions whilst it's back for a moment, but it's just not good enough, is it? We'll try again next week. I would like to choose this time for streaming. I think it's a good time. Between 4 and 6 is good for me. So I'll probably do it maybe a Monday, maybe on a Friday. It's supposed to be a fibre broadband. It's the most expensive I can get, and I can't get anything else. I've even looked up as to whether I can, pay for something that's better. I don't know, satellite broadband or something. But there is nothing. This is literally what I've got, and that's it. I really apologise about this. It's a shame, isn't it? Yeah, it's frustrating, isn't it? Yeah, I am on Wi-Fi, but I'm a long way away from my router. I have got a cable, so I'm going to connect that up to my router, but it is actually the internet dropping out, so it's not to do with the Wi-Fi signal to my router. It's the actual internet keeps dropping out, unfortunately. But thanks for all the support. It's nice that people kept coming back, but I am so obviously no one wants to watch a stream that's going to keep clunking out like this. It says my connection's excellent, but it's lying to me, isn't it? Anyway, so what I'll try and do, I will hopefully get something fixed. Get a new power line adapter has worked wonders for me. Maybe I'll try that. I'm not sure about my power cable thing here, whether that's going to work or not, but it will. I can try it. But I'm planning on hooking it up and directly into the box and getting a new router. So hopefully that will happen soon. And on the next stream, it's all going to be fixed, which is a frustration because we had lots of people on today, and I was very excited. Anyway, you can see how brilliantly far I've come. It's not very far, is it? But I had the wrong screen on for a while as well, didn't I? Oh, just not very good, am I? I think it could be the router, but we'll see. Anyway, thanks everybody for joining me. I am gonna quit it for now. I'll leave the model where it is, and hopefully there'll be more exciting episodes coming. Hopefully Monday, if I can get my internet modem sorted out by then. We'll see how we get on. So thanks everybody. Sorry to disappoint you all. And yeah, it's a masterpiece, isn't it? But I will, we'll be back on as soon as I possibly can. My internet got stage fright. I think that was it. Anyway, so I'm going to call it a day there once again. So thank you very much, everybody. And I will see you all again soon.